Knockhill Racing Circuit for the Scottish BMW and SMT Fiesta Hot Hats Championship, and already the red lights are on the start gantry, full 5, and away we go down towards Duffus Dip for the first corner for the first team of Askin. A little bit close in the mid-pack there, but everybody has got a good launch as they go down towards the first corner, Duffus Dip, right-hander over the crest of the hill, and it's Russell Morgan who leads the way over the crest of the hill there. Russell in towards McIntyre's, and through he goes, accelerates out of the corner down towards Butchers before that challenging chicane that left right over the crest of chicane. There he comes through, good line through there for Russell Morgan, looking quite comfortable as we go on board. Is that John Balfour we're on board with? No, it's Cameron Bryant, sorry about that, Cameron. So the number on the top left off the window there, and as the guys head round towards the hairpin, Peter Cruikshank putting up a good fight as he gets his fists well and truly into this one. And this is young Cameron Bryant, fast little man in this car here. Down he goes, look at the car moving about in the brakes here, and up the inside goes the defending, reigning and current champion Wayne McCauley. But you can see Cameron's car there, as he braked very heavily, that thing got really loose and lively. The car obviously dancing on the nose quite a bit, and the back end of it a little bit unstable, but Cameron controlled that very well and heads off for another lap around Knockhill Racing Circuit here. So Wayne McCauley slides past him and gets himself into 4th place. McCauley now all over the back as he goes through and up the inside. It's another controlled manoeuvre by the champion Wayne McCauley. You could sense that was coming. He dives up the inside of Ryan Sterling there in the white car, normally run and competed in by Stuart Scott. This weekend, Ryan Sterling back in that car. Blair Murdoch, 85, just going through the back. Then there's Stephen Ward as well. There's John Balfour. New John was in the race. Car number 14, the fuel tone car for John Balfour, and it's getting very close now at the front as they come through Clark Corner. Russell Morgan defends as they come round towards the hairpin. He's put himself in the middle of the road, but about to go up the inside of him. No, he's got Wayne McCauley about to go round the outside of Peter Cruikshank as they come into the hairpin. And Cameron Bryant with a very late lunge up the inside, no contact made, good clean overtaking manoeuvre. You could just see him glancing towards the left-hand side wing mirror and possibly even out the window of the car to see if he was past Keeley, and he was, as into 2nd place has gone McCauley. McCauley has got Cruikshank at the hairpin. Now what can he do about Russell Morgan? This is a heroic drive for Wayne McCauley, car number 1, in towards McIntyre's. He doesn't go up the inside there, as we see from a very distant view there. A couple of BMWs going through the shot there. We should possibly mention the BMWs. It's good to see Ray McDowell and Annie Butterworth competing in this class. A couple more BMWs would definitely just be the ticket, as the old saying goes, as the guys come thundering through the chicane. Great corner, that completely blind as you come up towards it. Left, lower curb, right, lower curb, and a bit too much curb there for Russell Morgan. That spat that thing a little bit sideways. It's killed his momentum now, and here comes McCauley, and Wayne McCauley will drive right round the outside of him. He'll hit the brakes, and he's already in the lead before it's done. But look at that, Cruikshank goes for the inside. Morgan cuts him off. Cruikshank up the apex. McCauley's made a mistake. They're almost 3 wide as they leave the hairpin, but it's side by side a drag race. Let's see who has got the better engine up the main straight. Is it going to be McCauley, or is it going to be Russell Morgan? So that got all very close going in towards the hairpin. Morgan's on the inside. Will he have it in towards Duffus? Is he brave enough? Yes. Back up and through on the inside for Russell Morgan as he goes through in car number 37 there, as we ride on board once again with the orange number 27 with Cameron Bryant. He's got a great view of these guys as they go down through Butchers, and then you can see that chicane. Great corner. Through they come there. A little bit of defensive driving on the exit chicane by Russell Morgan, but he's looking pretty racy about this one, that's for sure, as they head round towards the hairpin. Morgan this time defends, but has McCauley. McCauley's car's got a huge turn of speed as he comes through Hislops and heads towards the hairpin. Cameron Bryant puts his car in the middle of the road. Here comes Ryan Sterling trying to go up the inside of Peter Cruikshank, but that's not to be. And you can see he was defensive on the way into the hairpin there, Cameron Bryant, and you can see just how much time he's lost on the exit of that corner. Put the car in the middle of the road on the way in, trying to cover himself from attacks and lunges behind him. It's a sensible thing to do, and he's actually managed to pull a bit of a gap on the guys who are all squabbling behind him. And Blair Murdoch tries to go round the outside of Ryan Sterling in the white 85 car, but no, Ryan Sterling is not going to let that happen, as Wayne McCauley has hit the front. He done that at the hairpin, we saw that, and he's now, look at the gap he's stretched out already as they go over the crest of the chicane. You can see the Fiestas trademark of the Fiestas, to kick that back wheel, the inside wheel when it goes in the corner, the light one at the back, always pause there. Great for photographers to get some pictures off. But as Wayne Macaulay heads round towards the hairpin, he's starting to put a little bit of clean air between himself and a very impressive, I've got to say, Russell Morgan ahead of Cameron Bryant, Peter Cruikshank. The first white car's Ryan Stirling, the second white car's Blair Murdoch, and Stirling's looking at Cruikshank at the hairpin, but it is not to be. Oh, was that a little bit of contact in the way in there? Just a slight tap in the back from Ryan Stirling into Peter Cruikshank. Bit of sideways for Peter, but he controls that, and it hasn't killed his momentum too much. It's hurt Ryan Stirling though, because Blair Murdoch had a shot at this the last time. Will he go round the outside of him coming into Duffy's Dip? This is going to be a brave manoeuvre, ladies and gentlemen. Blair Murdoch on the outside, can he do it? No, again Stirling holds his ground. All Ryan Stirling has to do there is really modulate the brake pressure as he's going in there. As long as he keeps the car alongside him and has a little bit in reserve, he can ultimately control the corner. As through the chicane comes Wayne Macaulay, Russell Morgan, Cameron Bryant, then 4th, 5th and 6th, with John Balfour now in the 14 car making headway. A little bit late in the race, but John definitely coming into his own as the rest of the guys make their way up the back straight. Stephen Gray, car 24 in there as well. Great to see him here. Aidan Ward's out in the race. Haven't seen too much of Aidan yet, but in towards the famous Knockhill hairpin these guys come. Let's have a look at lap times. Quickly have a little squint towards the timing screen here. Wayne Macaulay, a 61.2 second lap. Fastest lap of the race for him so far. 61 point. Russell Morgan 61.7. So these guys all circulating in the 61 second bracket. Not too bad. Peter Cruikshank 62 flat just now. Over the crest of Duffy's Dip goes Wayne Macaulay. Fantastic little bit of track that. Roller coaster all the way. You've got to watch all those red curbs on the inside, though, the sausage curbs. These Fiestas are so stiff. If you hit one of those sausage curbs, it really has a horrible effect on the car, and the car can kind of pogo stick its way out of the corner. It doesn't do your back any good, and it doesn't do the lap times any good either. Now, is this young man here starting to mount a challenge towards the back of that 37 car ahead of him? Lap times would suggest so. Cameron Bryant trying to get onto the back of car number 37, Russell Morgan. It could be a big ask, but he has got time to do it as they come in towards the hairpin. Once again, Wayne Macaulay flashes through and out of shot. Then we get second place Russell Morgan, third place Cameron Bryant, and fourth place Peter Cruikshank. Peter Cruikshank, by far and away the longest standing SMRC Fiesta runner. He's done this since, oh good grief, I'd hate to actually hazard a guess. It's a long time, a long time. Since back in the days when we used to have qualification races because there was that many XR2s, and the top 10 would always go straight through to the final. Rose-tinted glasses in the commentary box? Perhaps. As through comes Wayne Macaulay. Yes, Cameron Bryant definitely looking a little bit smoother and quicker through the chicane there. And Ryan still, oh, John Balfour, you can see what's saying about hitting the sausage curb. Balfour's car comes through bouncing there. But he's making headway into the back of Blair Murdoch as we look for Peter Cruikshank. Now, Peter Cruikshank behind Cameron Bryant is starting to come under threat from Ryan Stirling. He's going to have to watch out for that, because if Ryan Stirling gets any closer, Peter will start having to defend into certain corners as Wayne Macaulay crosses the start-finish line and goes underneath that famous Knockhill Bridge, the Beatson's Building Supply Bridge. On this brand new surface we have at Knockhill as well, we should say that brand new track surface, complete resurface job all the way around off the track and the curbs. Lap records have fallen by round about half a second in almost every class over the course of the weekend. Drivers loving it, drivers and riders absolutely loving it, for the motorbikes as well. Saying it's so smooth, it's taken away all the actual bumps that were in the tarmac, but it's still a roller coaster to drive, that is for sure. As they go up the back straight now, Blair Murdoch still holding off John Balfour, only just. Balfour has arrived well and truly in that number 14 car. And Russell Morgan in second place does look like he has managed to kind of fend off Cameron Bryant, but look at that, Russell Morgan goes a little bit wide there and Cameron Bryant swings into the corner. Oh, and that's going to hurt Morgan. He puts two wheels in the gravel and that will be his drive done. He's now alongside us here. Is that a little wave? Is that a cheeky little wave from Cameron Bryant there? Or was he just flexing the fingers? Either way, he has the drive. He's now ahead as they go down towards Duffy's Dip, and we pick up with a little bit of guys further back in the action That's definitely Lorne Murray there. Annie Butterworth, Ray McDowell, Aidan Ward, as we go back towards the end of the straight and we catch up with Wayne McCauley. But there is a new second place man, and we'll see him in just a minute, and that will be, well, let's just make sure it is before we say anything. Should be Cameron Bryant in car number 27, the orange 27. And let's listen to him going through the chicane here. You could hear the car, just a little lift at the crest of the chicane, and you could see that unsettling the car. A little bit opposite lock gets put on. Now he's having to defend there in towards Clark Corner. He turned in very early, so a little bit defensive drive, and Russell Morgan obviously isn't finished with him yet as they head round towards the hairpin. Ray McDowell in that very flashy coloured BMW. Aidan Ward, Lorne Murray, and then Annie Butterworth in the second of the BMWs, and Annie having a look up the inside into Clark. Is that going to happen? Yes, hold your breath. Murray, very, very brave going through Clark though. Fought that one towards the end. And here we pick back up now with our second place battle. Cameron Bryant has got Russell Murdoch, sorry. We'll get that one right yet. He's got Russell Morgan all over the back of him. That's what happens when you combine Blair Murdoch and Russell together. So, very interesting concept and a rather frightening thought, that, to tell you the truth. As we see them going through McIntyre's out of our shot. Peter Cruikshank looks like he's pulled away from Ryan Stirling, so that will make him pretty happy. For the rest of this one, 24 going through there, Stephen Gray, and there's Stephen Ward, 55. I would expect those two chaps to be a little bit further up the order. Maybe a couple of issues going on that we're not 100% aware of or sure of. One thing we are sure of is this man here, Wayne McCauley, as he comes round towards the hairpin. He is definitely the leader, and he's got a comfortable buffer over him. He'll be able to do that lovely trick is when you come through the Knockhill hairpin, just have a little glance to your right hand side. You can see everybody else coming in and battling away, and battling they are, because look at that, both Bryant and Morgan make a mistake going in there far too hot into the corner, and that's allowed Peter Cruikshank to zoom right up to the back of them. And if anything, they've put themselves in a bit of a predicament now, because that's let Peter Cruikshank get involved. And look at this at the hairpin, Aidan Ward with a lovely manoeuvre, and Ray McDowell drives into the side of him. Well, that's not very nice, Ray. Let's hope there's not too much damage to that blue car. Well, that was a fiendish bit of braking there from young Aidan there. Very late, round outside and cut across the nose. As we go back towards Duffy's Dip. First is through, second, third and fourth all together on the road now. Russell Morgan is going to have to watch, because the canny veteran himself, Peter Cruikshank, has got himself right into the mix of this one. Nice NASCAR donut on the side of Cameron Bryant's car there. The tyre mark right on the side of the passenger door, so he's been very close to somebody, whether that was Russell Morgan when they left the hairpin. We'll possibly find out post-race or at the next meeting, or probably on social media, I would imagine, as we come through Clarkston. Look at this, Cruikshank's got an overlap. Russell Morgan's going to try and take him right out towards the grass. He's made his one manoeuvre, Morgan. He can't move again as he comes into the hairpin. Cruikshank goes up the side. Morgan does a little bit of dancing on the brakes. Has he gone in hot? We've seen this so many times. Yes, he understeers through the corner. Look at the steering lock. But up towards the checker flag comes Wayne McCauley. It's been a dominant drive for Wayne McCauley in the number one car. He wins. It will be second place for Cameron Bryant, and Peter Cruikshank will take third place, just ahead of Russell Morgan, with Ryan Stirling coming through behind him in fifth place. Then John Balfour gets the better of Blair Murdoch as well, so that's quite interesting. Stephen Gray comes home, Stephen Ward and Aidan Ward round out the top 10.